Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Exodus. We're in the midst of Exodus chapter 3. We've been looking at Moses' encounter with God at the burning bush. And we've seen that God has invited Moses to return to Egypt and be God's instrument of bringing deliverance to the children of Israel. Now today we're going to look at how Moses begins to respond. He's a little surprised that God has called him, and he expresses that surprise to God. We're starting to read at verse 11 of chapter 3. But Moses said to God, "Who am I, that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" And God said, "I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain." Now Moses responds much as we might have in a similar situation. Perhaps we respond the same way to God today when he calls us. We say, "Lord, who am I that you can use me? Who am I that I should do such a thing?" Moses might be thinking, "Lord, who am I? Don't you remember how I failed before? I tried to take matters into my own hand, ended up murdering an Egyptian, having to flee for my life here to Midian. I failed already. Who am I that I should do this? Who am I, Lord, a shepherd on the backside of the Sinai desert, that you would deliver your people through me? Who am I?" Notice how God responds. "It's not about you, Moses. It's about me. I will be with you." That's God's answer. I will be with you. "Moses, I'm not sending you because you have such great talent, or you're such a wonderful leader, or that you can somehow in your own strength accomplish this work. Oh, no. It's not about you. It's about me. I will be with you. I am the one who will deliver the Israelites. I am the one who will demonstrate my power. I am the one who will bring my people out. You are simply the tool in my hand to accomplish it. I will be with you." It's always the same. When God calls us, he also promises to be with us. We're never to go out alone. We're never to go out in our own strength as if we have to make it happen. No. God says, "If I send you, I will be with you. My power will be upon you. My spirit will be in you. I will be with you." Now notice God does more. He gives Moses a sign. Sometimes we'd like a sign from God that he'll be with us. So God gives to Moses a sign. But notice what the sign is. He says, "This will be the sign that I've sent you. This will be the sign. When you've brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. This is the sign, Moses, that I'll be with you. After the people are delivered, you'll worship God on this mountain." Did you notice that? The sign comes after you obey. The sign comes in the obedience, as I will show you what I will do. Now, oftentimes when we're looking for a sign, we want the sign before. God calls us to do something. We say, "God, give me a sign you want me to do this before I do it." But for Moses, God says the sign will come after you obey me. After you bring the people out, after you follow my call, after you do what I say, you'll come back to this mountain and you'll worship me here on Mount Sinai. Of course, we know that's going to happen. The sign comes after. It's a great lesson for us here. When God calls us to step out in faith, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to step out in faith, believing. And then the authenticating signs will come. God's power will be shown. His presence will be felt. His nearness will be available. His Spirit will flow through us. But it's as we step out in obedience. You remember the story in the New Testament where Jesus was walking on the water? And Peter said, "I want to come out there and walk on the water to you." Jesus said, "Come on." Peter had to get out of the boat before he could walk on the water. He had to obey. And he did. I know you also remember, well, yeah, but after a few moments he began to sink. That's because he took his eyes off Jesus. But don't forget, he got out of the boat. And then he saw God's power when he walked on the water. Moses, you got to step out in faith. Go on to Egypt like I told you. I'll be with you. And the sign will be, the power of deliverance will be there. You'll bring the people out and you'll worship God. You'll worship me, God says, on this mountain. When God calls us, let us step out in faith. The sign will be in our obedience. God will demonstrate his nearness. He will show his power. God does give signs. He does authenticate his call upon us as we step out in faith to him. So Moses said, Lord, who am I that I should go? God said, I'll be with you. And the sign will be, you'll come back and worship me on this mountain with a delivered people. Amen and amen. Let us always step out in faith and obedience when God calls us, because he will be with us. Amen and amen. Hope you have a great day today, and I'll see you next time in our 5-minute Bible study in the book of the Exodus.